Like damn, she wanna afford to touch me. I say I own it, and she got it.
What's good? It's your boy JayThat'sMe. Let's get into AEW Dynamite from September the 11th, 2024. This show was boring and bland outside of the Jon Moxley and Darby Allin stuff. Everything else on the show was boring. It's just the cold, hard, painful facts. We have some news and notes to get into real quick. Note 1 is AEW is supposedly going to have a 4th show. It's supposed to be on Fox Sports FS1. And I know the AEW fanboys are jumping up and down and happy, but we have to wait and see if it's going to pan out. And I'm not saying that it's not going to happen, it's not going to occur, but it'll probably take the place of Rampage. But AEW has to realize that they are an extremely ice-cold product. They've been cold for months now. Months. They were hot and at their peak back in 2021 and back in 2022. Last year and this year especially, they've been on the decline like nobody's business. And they have no one to blame but themselves. You can't blame the WWE or anything like that. You have to blame yourselves. I've said it for months. I've said it for months and months that Tony Khan is the reason why AEW has fallen off a cliff. It doesn't matter who they bring in. They can bring in Shane McMahon. He's not going to do much of anything. Not long term, just for short term, about a month to 2 months. I don't know. Again, if Tony Khan is not removed from AEW, we will see the death of AEW. That's just what's going to happen. Tony Khan cannot book. He's proven it for 5 years straight. This man doesn't know what he's doing. And he continues to cater to the sickos and the smart marks. And you have to let those two fan bases go so he can go into a more casual, friendly audience and bring that mainstream to it like WWE has. AEW continues to do this indie, New Japan, smart mark product, and it's not working. That niche audience is going to let you down 9 times out of 10. Well, no, 10 times out of 10, they're going to let AEW down. And they have. But AEW has failed to capture casual fans, and it's not good. It's just not good. But we'll have to wait and see if they are going to be on FS1. We'll have to wait and see. Note 2. People are still thinking that AEW has a deal with Warner Brothers. We don't know yet. That is another wait and see. Calm down. Think for a moment. AEW probably will get an extension for sure. I think Warner Brothers, I'm not the only one that thinks and believes this either. There are people in the wrestling media, you know, such as Brendan Thurston, guys like Brian Last from Jim Cornette's podcast co-host, and others that believe, just like myself, that Warner Brothers has a little stake in AEW. I do think that they have some stake in AEW. I really do. I would say probably about a good 10 to 15% that I have at least that much invested in AEW. And the 90 to 85% of AEW falls on them. but Warner Brothers definitely does have a stake in AEW for sure. So again, we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. Moving on, let's get into the show. So we kicked the show off with Jon Moxley. And so he says something that couldn't be destroyed, something they could be proud of. So we see footage of the medics taking out Danielson and checking on him. So Jon Moxley, he talked about egos being out of control, and AEW is crawling with said egos. Mox talks about their mentor, their lordship, a.k.a. William Regal, praising Danielson in the past, and his words are, "We are who we are." And then he calls himself the king of these lands. Mox says, diplomacy has failed, and today he chooses war. Pretty cool stuff right there. I love that promo. Moving right along. So we see Darby Allin. He comes out. He skates into the arena. So that's fine. And he's going to be addressing Mox, calling him out for the past couple weeks. So we kick the show off with the patriarchy. Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, Mama Wayne, and Luchasaurus, my bad, Killswitch, they all come out. So, Christian Cage talked about his son Nick Wayne saying the word on the street is Christian Cage has infinite aura. He also talked about Wembley Stadium and how that went sour for them. He talked about Killswitch finally submitting to him, recognizing him as one of the best big men in the business, and he belongs to Christian Cage. Pause. So Christian Cage admits it wasn't the right time when he was. It wasn't the right time to cash in. Allegedly, to cash in his title shot and All Out, it wasn't the right time. So Christian Cage, he shuts down a scattered Luchasaurus chant. He calls them, says it's a kill switch. So Christian Cage says that what happened to Bryan Danielson and All Out will be nothing compared to what Christian Cage does to win. What he feels is rightfully his. And so that was it. So this is fine. It makes sense. We'll see where this leads to. I don't know. We could be getting a match between the two of them at Wrestle Dream in October on the 12th. So we'll have to wait and see. Moving on. So Don Callis, he's backstage. He's with Will Ospreay. He's talking about teaming up with Kyle Fletcher. And the Casino Tag Team Match Gauntlet. Will Ospreay's not eager to accept Don's offer as he's focused on defending the International Championship against Ricochet. But Kyle Fletcher implores him to reconsider, which Ospreay accepts. They shake hands. And Tenosuke Takeshita, he stares down Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. So we know what's going to happen. It's going to be a turn next week. Don Callis and Takeshita, they're going to screw over Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Spoiler, they won the main event. Who cares? Moving right along. So Jack Perry, he comes into the arena with a scapegoat black minivan. So he takes on Leo Rush. So Jack Perry defeats Leo Rush. Leo Rush, who's very, very good. He should be a manager or of some sort. He can get himself over. He's solid on the mic. He's proven he can get himself over. WWE's proof of that. I have no idea why AEW refuses to tap into that, but that's Tony Khan for you. But I am glad that Leo Rush has gotten a second chance from Tony Khan. That was great. After all the stuff that happened, I believe that was 3 years ago. So, of all the stuff that happened 3 years ago, it's good to see Leo Rush getting a second chance. He's good. He just needs some more weight on him, though. He needs at least to be at like 190 or 195, or even 200 even. But it's what it is. Moving on. So Jack Perry, he collects his title, and he is met with Alex Marvez. He tries to get in some words with him, but Jack Perry says that, he essentially says that he's Jesus, basically, allegedly. That's what he's saying. So, it is what it is. Who cares, man? I don't get Jack Perry. He's fucking weird. Moving on. So, Hangman, he's backstage, and he's asked by Renee Paquette where's his head at. Pause. Hangman says that he would have found 100 houses belonging to Swerve Strickland. He would have burned 100. He would have burned 1,000 houses down. He talks about everything he did to Swerve and All Out. He meant it. And now he speaks to all of us. If we get in his way, if we stood between him and Swerve, if we protect Swerve from Paige, Hangman would find us and hurt us. So he then storms off. He meets up with the Dark Order, which I don't know why they're still employed in AEW. They should be relegated to Ring of Honor, AEW Ring of Honor. That's what they need to be, and stay there. So, Paige, he stares a hole through all three of the Dark Order guys. Then, Hangman Page, he finds himself standing across from Jeff Jarrett. He wants to get some revenge, that being Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, he talks about getting his hands on Hangman Page for attacking his wife, Karen Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett talks about the toughest son of a bitch, a man who can face being the man in the mirror. So the two of them just basically come to blows, which is cool. Really good shit there. That was kind of, interesting. We'll see where this leads. Moving on, we were about to have a match between, involving Private Party and Commander taking on some jobbers, but that never happened because Jon Moxley and company, they beat the shit out of them. So Pac, he gets on the mic, and he talks about what happened to All Out, referring to himself as someone who was lost, but now he has a purpose. He says that this company is now ours. He taps the mic, and that was the end of the segment, so that's fine. Interesting stuff, I guess. Continuing right along, we had a learning tree segment. So Chris Jericho, he's wearing the weird orange jacket for 4 years ago, and he wants his $7,000 back from Orange Cassidy. Chris Jericho said he took Orange Cassidy's backpack as collateral, and while the $7,000 jacket he's owed isn't in the bag, he found something equally important, stating that Orange Cassidy will suffer the consequences of an action. And that was the end of the segment. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Ricochet defeats Sammy Guevara, who I thought was relegated to Ring of Honor, but that was not so. And I assume the only reason why he was able to make it to that show was because Mercedes Moné was not on said show. So that's fine, but he did a flip off of the tunnel, and the crowd popped and stuff, so it was Sammy Guevara doing Sammy Guevara things. Who gives a fuck? So Ricochet wins via the Vertigo for the 1, 2, 3. That's fine. So Mortos, aka Black Taurus from X-TNA, he attacked he attacked Ricochet. And then Sammy Guevara made the save with a steel chair. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Who gives a shit? Moving right along. So Kazuchika Okada, he's backstage. He talks about how easy the match was for him at All Out to win. So Don Callis arrives to tell Okada that he did not pin Takeshita. Okada says Takeshita will be champion, but not the Continental Champion. Then he mocks Don Callis before Takeshita stares him down, and that was it. So that's pretty cool. We should get a match between the two of them at Wrestle Dream. Do not be dumb, Tony Khan, and book this for Grand Slam in 2 weeks. That would be dumb as shit to do. Do not do it. Moving right along. So Darby Allin, he comes out. He says that he wants to talk to Mox. Here he is. So Mox comes out. And so it's just Mox and Marina Shafir. So Mox says that he's not sure what Darby has seen or heard, but nothing has changed between them from their last encounter. Darby cuts him off, saying that he and Mox didn't pretend to be superstars living in a fantasy world. They both came from nothing and will do whatever it takes to not go back. He states that he cites his circumstances growing up before noting that Mox never changed himself for nobody, and that's something that Darby aspired to be like and mimic. Darby talks about meeting Mox not in AEW, but in a high school gym on the indie scene, and how nervous he was about that moment, and how much he wanted to be like Mox at the time, but not now. Not after what he did to Bryan Danielson. He could never do that to someone who he considers family. He asks Mox what he wants. So Mox says that he wants a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship at Grand Slam. He said that's not going to happen because the champion is he's incapacitated, indisposed. Indisposed. But Mox is calling out Darby to hand over that title shot because Darby isn't ready. So Darby begins to run down Mox, saying that he sounds like everyone he claims to hate by acting like a selfish entitled douchebag. If Mox wants the shot, he has to earn it. So Mox offers to pay him a Grand Slam for the title shot, promising to teach Darby a lesson the hard way. Darby accepts, telling Moxley that if he wants to run AEW to the ground, he better not be surprised if Darby pulls him into the fire. Okay, this is fine. This makes sense, I guess. Is it important? Sort of, kind of. Again, if they're going to do this takeover angle, that usually happens with management, people in authority. So we have to run this angle for a while. Again, I'll say it. Shane McMahon should not come into AEW until Wrestle Dream. You have to continue to build this. And maybe they're going to go about it where Mox is the one to retire Danielson full time, and he beats the shit out of him big time. Where Danielson's like bloody and everything else, and they choke him out and stuff. I think that's the angle that they're going to go for, and I think that's when we see Shane McMahon. That's when we see him at Wrestle Dream. So there's that. Moving on. So Mariah May, she defeats Queen Inanna. So that's fine, I guess. And then post-match, she wanted she wanted to see Mina Shirakawa again because she feels lonely or something like that. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. It is what it is. Who cares? So, we then get the Luring Tree defeating the Iron Savages. They win. And then, Orange Cassidy... Well, no, Chris Jericho reveals what he had at Orange Cassidy. That was his backpack. And it was a framed picture, I kid you not, of Orange Cassidy and the best friends. I'm like, bruh, what the fuck? Isn't Orange Cassidy, like, in his, like, early 40s? Like, bruh, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? What the hell is wrong with you, dog? I don't know. And then Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly, they get a bulldozer and they drop a huge pile of pennies and quarters and stuff to dent Jericho's Bentley. So that was okay, I guess. But do I care about this segment? Nah, not really. Moving right along. Nigel McGuinness, he is out next. And he says that he wants to face Bryan Danielson. He mentioned Justin Roberts about being choked out by Danielson years ago. And so at Grand Slam, it's going to be Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. He wants Tony Khan to make it official. And Nigel McGuinness knows that Bryan Danielson is afraid of him. And the one match that everyone wants to see. But Tony Khan's not afraid. He knows a money match when he sees one. And so it's going to be Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness at Grand Slam. Okay, interesting, I guess. That should be fun. Again, this is early 2000s Ring of Honor. So this is like between 02 and 05, maybe 06 as well. So that should be fun. This should be cool. And this is probably the only match that we'll probably see Nigel McGuinness in. So this should be fun. And this is the type of audience that Tony Khan wants to cultivate. And that's fine. So, cool. Main event of the evening, it was the Tag Team Casino Gauntlet match. This sucked ass. So it was FTR, the Undisputed Kingdom, the Acclaimed, MXM, which is Mace and Mansoor from WWE, the Mace and Mansoor collection. Okay, that's fine, I guess. They're not going to win anything. Top Flight, the Outrunners, which they're pretty okay. Grizzled Young Vets, who they got into a brawl with FTR. So there's that. And then Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay, they won the match. So it is what it is. Who cares? This was lame. And people thought, oh, look, the Mercy Machine Guns, they're going to show up. No, it's not going to show up. Those guys aren't going to show up, period. It seems to me that the Mercy Machine Guns, for what I'm looking into from the rumor mill, is that they're rumored to be in NXT in the next little bit. They're going to be making their way to NXT during the CW. So probably the first episode of the CW, if not, maybe the second show, the one in St. Louis with Randy Orton. But like I said, that was AEW. It was boring. The Moxley and the Moxley and Darby stuff was pretty cool. That's interesting to see where that goes. Everything else on the show was just garbage. Just garbage. But such is life. That's AEW. Tony Khan has no idea what he's doing. But what did you guys think of AEW? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.